Hello friends, welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome if you are new. I am Denise, and today I am going to can some potatoes. I'm very new to canning. I didn't know if I wanted to bring you along for this or not, but I decided I may as well. Maybe I can learn some tips from some of you guys. So I have here about 5 pounds of yellow potatoes, and I peeled and cubed them about 1-inch squares. I have them in cold water so they don't turn brown. And I'm going to fill up my pint jars. And I am doing this raw pack because I've seen people do it, and I don't like hot packing. So I'm going to see if this works. And if it does, yay. And if it don't, I learned a lesson. We want it filled to a 1-inch headspace. And I'm only doing enough jars that fit in my canner, and that is 7. Dump some of this water off now. I'm just dumping off the water. All right, there are my 7 pints of potatoes. And I am going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in these, because potatoes need salt. You don't have to add salt if you don't want to. All right. Now I'm going to add cold water to the bottom of this rim. That is a 1-inch headspace. All right, now I need to debubble. Don't want any air bubbles trapped in there. Now we have to adjust the headspace. All right, I'm going to clean the rims with some vinegar. You don't want any salt or anything on there. That will prevent a good seal. I have my canning lids here that I washed just to get any oil off of them that might be from manufacturing. And my lids, and these just gonna go on fingertip tight. Okay, and now I have my canner here. Better wipe off the stove. Not sure if I remember the brand of this, but I have my bottom rack there, and this does hold 7. Now I need to add 3 quarts of water. and I'm going to dump some vinegar in there. We got hard water, and that'll just help from water sediments settling on your jars. And now for the lid, you always want to make sure your gasket is in good shape and in where it needs to be, and that there's nothing obstructing the vent. And there isn't. Oh, this is a Presto canner. And we're going to put this on and seal it up. And we're going to turn this on. And this is going to take a while since we have cold water and everything in here. But it's going to have to vent for 10 minutes. So once I see steam spewing out of here, I'll set my timer for 10 minutes. And then this is 5-pound weight. Add one of these. It's 10 pounds. And add the third one, and it's 15 pounds. And that's what I need, a 15-pound weight on there. So I'll bring you back when this starts steaming. If you'll be able to see it or not, I don't know. So I'll bring you back in a little while. Okay, my thing has been venting for 10 minutes. So now I'm going to add my 15 pounds of weight. And now we have to let it build up pressure. And once this weight starts jiggling at a nice rock, I will set my timer for 35 minutes since we're doing pints. So I'll bring you back when these are all done. Okay, this has been jiggling away now for 35 minutes. So I just shut the heat off. And I am going to move it off the burner and just let this naturally release. So once that button comes down, it'll be depressurized. And then I'll crack the lid and let it sit for 5 minutes. And then I'll bring you back when I take the jars out and we'll see what we have. Okay, my canner has depressurized. And I had it sitting here with the lid cracked for a good 5 minutes. Now we need to get these out of here. I don't notice any siphoning going on, so that's good. Ooh, look at those. Those look really good. I'm going to set them over here. And they'll sit here or over there until tomorrow morning. And then I will check the seals and clean up the jars. So I will bring you back tomorrow morning and we'll see the end results. Good morning, friends. It is the next day. My potatoes have sat on the counter for well over 12 hours. I cleaned up the jars and I tested the seals. One of them did not seal. So that got the ring put back on it, and it's in the fridge, and we'll have fried potatoes one of these nights. But they look absolutely amazing. So, the more comfortable I get with canning, the more I will bring you along for it. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome if you are new. I am Denise. Today is Friday. I need to make room in my freezer for Christmas baking coming up. So I took out all my bags of turkey and chicken bones, a bag of veggie scraps, and I am just going to be putting all this into my big electric roaster. And I'm going to be making some yummy broth. Put these sweet peppers in. They're starting to get soft, so they're not really good for fresh eating anymore. Celery, that's been in the freezer for a little bit too long. And then in here, I have mostly onion peels, but there's some celery tops and other things. All right, I gotta get this organized. And once this starts cooking, everything will thaw out, so I'll be able to stir it up and get her in there better. All right, now I need to fill this up with water. And I'm just gonna put as much water in here as it takes to fill it up. I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar in here. That will help draw out the bone stuff. I'm going to do maybe a 1/4 cup. Okay, we look like we are full. That took at least 3 gallons. I'm going to put the lid on this and turn this on to about 325 degrees, and I'm going to let this cook for many, many hours. So I will bring you back when I move on to the next step. Okay, friends, the chicken and veggie scraps have been cooking for 7 hours. So now I need to get all of this out of here. And the first thing I'm going to do is strain it. But I'm going to dig out all the big pieces first. Oh, I don't know if you can see the color of this, but it is amazing looking. And what I'm going to do after I get it strained is I am going to cool it, and then we're going to can it tomorrow. But I'm going to be doing a cold pack canning, so this is going to sit in the refrigerator after it cools down. So I'm just going to continue straining it all, and then we're going to cool it overnight, and then I'll bring you back tomorrow morning. Good morning, friends. It is the next day, and I just got my broth out of the freezer, and it's got a layer of fat on it. So I'm going to try to get as much of it skimmed off as I can. Okay, I didn't get 100% of it, but I got enough. And what I want to do is get this heating up on the stove just enough to make it a complete liquid, because this is really amazing looking broth. So I'm just going to get this liquefied and get the fat skimmed off of this and get that liquefied, and then I'll bring you back when I start the canning. Okay, I got my broth liquefied. It's at best room temperature. So I'm going to start cleaning my pint-sized jars, or filling them. I just cleaned them. So I'm going to fill these to a 1-inch headspace, I believe. I'll have to look to make sure. Okay, I'm just going to continue filling these until I'm out of broth, and I'll bring you back. Okay, I got my first 12 pint jars filled up. I'm going to have to go get more jars because I still have half this pan to go. I'm going to add just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to each one of these. There's the salt. And that is canning salt, so you don't want to use regular old table salt. And here I have vinegar. All right, you guys, I lost footage. My camera stopped recording in the middle of this. So what I did was I cleaned off all the rims with vinegar, and then I put the lid on, and then the ring, and the rings are just fingertip tight. I filled my canner with 7 jars, and I put 3 quarts of water in it. I'm doing cold cannings. So I have cold product, cold jars, cold canner, and I had to put cold water in there. Once this comes to temp and this starts venting, I'm going to set my timer so it vents for 10 minutes, and then I'll be putting my weight on it. This one piece is 5 pounds. Add one of these weights. It's now 10 pounds. Add the second weight. It is now 15 pounds. And 15 pounds is what I need to be at for my altitude. You're going to have to check your altitude instructions to find out what you need to be. So once this vents for 10 minutes, I'll put the weight on. And once it starts jiggling, I'll set my timer for 20 minutes. And then I'll remove it from the heat, and it will depressurize naturally. And then I can take the lid, crack the lid, and let it get somewhat of a more even temp before I pull them out of here. So I'll bring you back when I pull them out of here. Okay, my second batch of chicken stock is done. I got 16 pints out of all those chicken and turkey bones and veggie scraps. Instead of throwing it away, I put it to good use. So now these are going to have to sit on the counter for at least 12 hours. And then I'll take the rings off and check the seal and clean up the jars. And then they will go down on the shelves in the basement. Look at this beautiful chicken broth. And I've been hearing all kinds of lids pop already, so that's a good sign. There it is, 16 pints of chicken broth. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you part of my YouTube family. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.